Good day, folks. Domestic politics, but today a little bit more of what are the dangers and risks that are existing in this current dispensation. Obviously, the law was passed again in majority sense on linking the Aadhaar to the election, into Aadhaar to elections. Whether that's right or wrong, but not enough debate. Obviously a big event in UP where Ram Iqbal Singh, who's been a leader right from the days of being a student of the BJP, flipped and joined the Samajwadi Party. One of the things that Godi media never spoke about was just before how he had spoken out at a BJP Sammelan in UP. But hey, this is what it is, right? Harsh Mandar says the doctrine of hate. It will injure not only the other. Sam shows how it touches and savagely damages us all. It says, I'm haunted by the lament of two young researchers from Assam, Suraj Gogoi and Nizamuddin Siddiqui. We are shaken and frozen, they say. Is this the last sky? The majority of the Indian people have become so inured to brutal public display of hate, violence, and that when we consume video images of lynching, gang rape and killing of Dalit women and the flaunting of bigotry by our leaders, we just turn our faces away. What was then about the recent images from Darang in Assam of a man with a lathi shot in his chest trying to defend his home against hundreds of armed security men, and of young civilian jumping on and kicking the man's body even as his last breath sees that has stirred public outrage. This is what's happening in this country that you have to worry. As Mrinal Pandey writes, Dekhi tumri Kashi logo, dekhi tumri Kashi. He says it's an alchemical blending of dream and reality, a fucker university in which the real seems fantastic and the fantastic suddenly unmasks the real. Maybe this will help Kashi survive the latest challenge to its soul. What does it say? He says, under the harsh myriad colored light beams, chants and rings of bells, Kashi seemed like the sort of set for a Bollywood historical. It was hard to believe it was once a dramatic and vociferous seat of multiple languages, multiple faiths and great learning. Surrounded by men carrying outsized damaroos, loud slogans of Har Har Mahadev along with Jai Shri Ram, showering of petals and a great display of ritualistic worship, the old Kashi faded slowly. Kashi, the eternal host to higher learning and philosophical dissension, the seat of the Naga and Yaksha deities coexisting peacefully with the Vedic and post-Vedic pantheon of gods, of great dissenters and heretics, yogis, naths, siddha and agropanthis, was being fitted, it appeared, into a new definition of politically honed, unsmiling and aggressive Hindutva. This is what you have to worry about, folks, and that's the another thing you have to worry about. At arm's length, written by S.Y. Qureshi, the arm's length test. PMO summons to EC is a transgression, constitutional principle and proprietary envisage distance between institutions. He says the PMO summoning or inviting not just the CEC but the full bench is outrageous and is in complete violation of the Constitution, irrespective how important or urgent the issue. Let alone the PS to the PM, even the mighty PM himself cannot indulge in this unacceptable act. Can you imagine the PS to the PM issuing such summons to the CGI to come with the full bench and attend a meeting with him on judicial reforms? This was almost going to happen, folks. And as Miran Chadda Borwankar writes, an uncivil message, another uncivil message. Appointment of New Delhi police chiefs is a brutal display of power by the center. This is what is happening, folks, to our country. You got to watch it. You are the conscience. The educated are the conscience. Let's stand up and be there.
झूठ 100 बार क्या 1000 बार कहा गया हो, लेकिन यह बात नहीं बदली जा सकती है कि गोडसे ने, जो अपने आप को सबसे बड़ा हिंदूवादी कहता था, वो एक ऐसे व्यक्ति की हत्या की जो कहते थे रघुपति राघव राजा राम, पतित पावन सीता राम, ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम, सबको सम्मति दे भगवान। यह सत्य नहीं बदला जा सकता है। इतिहास बदलने की बात करते हैं। अरे साहब, जिससे वर्तमान नहीं संभल रहा हो वो इतिहास क्या बदलेगा। और जहां तक आजादी का सवाल है, हमारे मित्र सुशील भाई ने कहा कि एगो को पद्मश्री दिया गया है, कहती हैं कि आजादी भीख में मिला है। ठेठ बिहारी आदमी है। हमारे यहाँ एक बात कही जाती है, बंदर क्या जाने अदरक का स्वाद। और अगर हम और बेगूसरैया भाषा में बोलें तो कहते हैं उसको बानर क्या जाने आदि का स्वाद। तो उस मुहावरे के तर्ज पे मैं ये कहता हूं, जैसे बानर क्या जाने आदि का स्वाद, वैसे संघी क्या जाने आजादी का स्वाद। जो आजादी के लिए लड़ता है, जिसने कुर्बानियां दी हैं, जो उस विरासत से अपने आप को जोड़ करके देखता है, वो उसके महत्व को समझता है। आजादी की बात हम भी करते हैं, आजादी का नारा हम भी लगाते हैं। देश से आजादी नहीं चाहते, देश के लोगों की जो समस्याएं हैं उन समस्याओं से आजादी चाहते हैं। हम चाहते हैं कि सिस्टम का जो करप्शन है, जिसका जिक्र हमारे साथी सुशील ने किया, कि अंग्रेजों का बनाया हुआ पुल टिका हुआ था, अंग्रेजों को हमने भगा दिया, हमने जिनको अपना समझ करके कुर्सी थमाई, उन्होंने एक पुल बनाया, अंग्रेजों के पुल को तोड़ दिया और उनका पुल अंग्रेजों से बहुत कम समय में धाराशाही हो गया है। हम इस लूट से आजादी चाहते हैं और हम अपनी जिम्मेवारी ये समझते हैं कि अगर देश को कोई बेचने पे उतारू है तो हम बचाने वालों की हुजूम भी तैयार करेंगे। इसी जिम्मेवारी के तहत मैं आपके बीच में आया हूं और आज हम आजादी के आंदोलन को इसलिए याद कर रहे हैं कि डॉक्टर बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर ने कहा है कि जो पीढ़ी अपना इतिहास भुला देती है उसका भविष्य।
So besides the election commission and the media and initially the judiciary, and obviously judiciary has shown some verve under this current CGI, the other three agencies, like I said, you know, these ED and IT are out on raids of Samajwadi Party, only suggests that they are about to lose, right? Or they're on a weak wicket. So here's another one which you remember earlier. Anything bad news, anybody talking wrongly, ED raids Harsh Mandar's Delhi residence NGO office. ED raids at activist Harsh Mandar's premises. This is constitution of harassment, coercion of CES and Harsh Mandar for being an outspoken defender of human rights. Then there was Sonu Sood, who had suddenly tied up with AAP, it seems. Sonu Sood aids evade taxes worth 20 crore, says IT department. IT department surveys 6 premises linked to Sonu Sood. So that's what they do, right? Then the other issue is the military. Under the CDS, I know he's died in unfortunate circumstances. Nobody wants to do that. But under the CDS, we did make a definitive turn for the worse towards politicization. As CEO Uday Baskar writes, in promotion policies for military, keep politics out, espousing empathy and the ideology of the ruling party and behaving in an unctuous manner to curry favor with the political apex has become benchmarks of promotion in other institutions. This ought not to be the new template for the Indian Forge, and it unfortunately is, ever since the CDS was unceremoniously made the chief of the army out of turn, right? Then we have this, a disturbing trend by Karan Thapar. He writes, there are 3 trends he talks about, right? First, former Navy Chief Admiral Arun Prakash and former Northern Army Commander Lieutenant General H.S. Panag tweeted a video of an Aarti being played at a ceremonial parade at the Artillery Regimental Center, while other soldiers clapped from behind. The second development suggests day after, it was a tweet on September 17 from the Srinagar-based Chinar Corps, also known as the 15th Corps. It extended heartiest birthday greetings to the Prime Minister. It also said, true leadership is not about a title or designation. It's also about impact, influence and inspiration. And it was taken out the day before, but you can see where it's going, right? Then you have this. Do these developments suggest a growing Hindu and Bharatiya Janta Party influence in the army, or were these foolish mistakes made by overzealous officers or kiss-ass officers, right? The third development is more troubling. It was brought to my attention by General Panag, who wrote about it in the print on December 4, the CDS, General Bipin Rawat, chose to visit a college run by the Gorakhnath Mutt in the company of Yogi Adityanath, rather than attend the Navy Day in New Delhi, folks. So before we make the CDS into God as is being attempted, or trying to compare him to Sam Manekshaw, just remember, there is a difference of day and night between the two. A day and night. This is an army brat telling you that, and not afraid to say that, right? And then you have this. Jab drive scaled up in poll-bound states. 25 million jabs in a day didn't go down well with opposition, says Modi. But you got a problem now, right? Omicron's back. We are not vaccinated no matter what the Modi says. Or his health minister now comes out and says there are enough vaccines. There are not enough vaccines. They're not giving it for free. They're again not ordering, folks. That's the reality. We're going to get caught again. coming up with this UP election. Last time he got caught with the West Bengal election. This time he's going to get caught with the UP election. But this time, folks, they just may want to cancel the elections because they fear loss. Conspiracy theory, but hey, you can't put it beyond these guys, man. They're out to bust every democratic institution that we have. And why not this, folks? And why not this? Give it a thought.
नमस्कार, मैं हूं संजय शर्मा। आप देख रहे हैं 4 PM न्यूज नेटवर्क। थोड़ी देर पहले मैं अपनी गाड़ी में डीजल पड़वाने गया तो मैंने खिड़की खोली। आजकल मैं पेट्रोल पंप पे भी थोड़ी गुफ्तगू कर लेता हूं। और पेट्रोल पंपों पे क्या, अगर रेस्टोरेंट में या कहीं पे भी जाइए, आप लोगों से बात करते रहिए तो एक विजन पता चलता है कि माहौल क्या चल रहा है, हवा किधर बह रही है। तो मैंने जानबूझ के कहा पेट्रोल पंप वालों से, मैंने पूछा भाई कहाँ के रहने वाले? उन्नाव का था। उससे पूछा कि चुनावी माहौल कैसा है? बोले साहब परेशानियाँ तो हैं ही है, महंगाई सब बातें हुई। तो मैंने कहा लेकिन अखिलेश यादव के तो कल छापे पड़ गए इनकम टैक्स वाले, उनके जितने करीबी लोग थे उनके यहाँ। बोले साहब मैंने पिछली बार वोट तो दिया था बीजेपी को, लेकिन मैं फिर कह रहा हूँ कि ये गलत है। ये तो शुद्ध गुंडागर्दी है कि आप सामने वाला खेल रहा है, कबड्डी खेल रहा है, उसकी टांग में लाठी मार दो। खेल खेलो ना जैसे खेल रहे हो। और मैं बड़ा हैरान कि पेट्रोल पंप का सेल्समैन और ऐसी बातें कर रहा है। हाँ, मुझे समझ में नहीं आया कि ये प्लानिंग कौन करता है कि जब चुनाव सिर पे हो, चुनाव 1.5 महीने पहले रह जाए तो फिर छापे मार दो, इनकम टैक्स के छापे मार दो, ईडी के छापे मार दो। आज मुझे दिल्ली से पता चला है, मैंने मजे की बात की, अगर आप मेरे परमानेंट दर्शक हैं, आप मेरे देखते रहे होंगे तो मेरी यूट्यूब की वॉल पे जाके देखिए। ठीक 1 महीने पहले मैंने कहा था कि अखिलेश यादव के करीबियों के यहाँ इनकम टैक्स के और ईडी के छापे पड़ने वाले हैं, CBI भी आने वाली है। हम लोग मुझे बड़े हैरान थे कि यार तुमने कैसे कह दिया कि ये सब होने वाला है। मैंने उनसे कहा कि असल में आप पत्रकारिता कर रहे हो तो अपना सोर्स डेवलप करिए, ईडी में करिए, इनकम टैक्स में करिए, CBI में करिए, कहीं ना कहीं से चीज़ें लीक होती हैं, पता चलता है कि प्लानिंग क्या है। आज दिल्ली के एक मेरे अफसर ने बताया कि बहुत जल्दी शिवपाल यादव और अखिलेश यादव के घरों पर भी रेड की जाएगी। अब क्यों की जाएगी, हम इस पर विचार करते हैं क्यों की जाएगी। दरअसल उत्तर प्रदेश का माहौल बदल रहा है और भारतीय जनता पार्टी जो 5-6 महीने पहले जो रणनीति बना के बैठी थी वो पूरी ध्वस्त हो गई। 6 महीने तक पहले बीजेपी को लगता था कि अखिलेश यादव घर से कम निकल रहे हैं तो चुनाव एकदम खाली है, मैदान खाली है, हम लोग आसानी से चुनाव जीत लेंगे। पहला झटका उनको लगा कि जब पंचायत के चुनाव थे, ये पहले चुनाव ऐसे होते हैं जो सीधे गांव के लोग सीधा वोट करते हैं। तो जब रिजल्ट आए तो जब से मेरे ख्याल से 95 से ये शुरू हुए हैं पंचायत के चुनाव, कभी ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि सत्ताधारी दल हारता हो उस चुनाव में, क्योंकि ना वो बहुत प्रेशर वाले चुनाव नहीं होते हैं। DMSP और सब संसाधन यूज कर लेते हैं तो जीत जाते हैं, प्रधान को डर रहता है तो चुनाव जीत जाते हैं। 95 के बाद ये पहली बार ऐसा हुआ कि बीजेपी यानी उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार बुरी तरह हारी चुनाव में।
So while this government should be worried about, as P. Jitambram writes, the case of the missing jobs, he says jobs were and are lost, new jobs are created. But if the net increase over 12 months is just 44,483, what does it say about the management of the economy and the pompous claims of the ministers and economic advisors? And they seem, you know what they seem to be doing? Projecting 90%, 80%, 120% of a base that is sub-zero. That's what you must remember. What they should also be looking at in this is rethink fuel prices. It's a negative stimulus continues to be in play and they've done nothing. But what do they really care about is this mischievous and fake crusade. The Prime Minister and the Home Minister should deprecate talk of jihad, love or narcotic. They should also comment on the seizure of 3,000 kgs of heroin in the Mundra port. Couldn't have happened between the powers that may be. There is no evidence that Islam is expansionist in India. The Pew survey published in June 2021 has blown away many myths and falsehoods. The religious composition of India has been reasonably stable between 51 and 2011. There is a slight increase in the proportion of Muslims because of migration and because of the fertility rate among Muslims, though it has fallen sharply from 4.4 in 92 to 2.6 in 2050. It's slightly more than the fertility rate among Hindus and other religious groups. Yet, even by 2050, Hindus will constitute an overwhelming 77% of the population. Among the respondents in the Pew survey, 81.6% said they were raised as Hindu and 81.7% currently identify as Hindu. 2.3% said they were raised as Christians, 2.6% currently identified as Christians. Mass conversion to Islam is a big lie. And this is what we should all actually celebrate. Muslims help save temple from damage. Jamia Nagar, move High Court to ensure damage halted. Temple Dharamsala hosted festivals of both Hindus and Muslims. This is India, folks. If you want to win the global stakes of geopolitical high-handed, high seat This is what we need to do. Jai Hind.